Yeah, you said
Yeah,
you have questions about women in Islam or
yeah,
something like
I
that.
do
Yeah.
actually
So go
have
ahead. Yeah.
questions regarding
No
women's
worries.
right in Islam, and like without
All right.
any disrespect, like I did feel like the women, like we women, are treated a little bit less than men, and it's
Okay.
perfectly fine because I can understand that like men are given more power by the society, by everyone. Like, it's completely like common. Um, and also like I've been reading about Islam lately, so it's not like I have zero knowledge about Islam. I just need a little bit of like clarification. Okay.
Okay.
Let
Can
me
you give
start
me
with like,
examples of when you say that you believe women are treated badly or
yeah, that's what
therefore
I'm gonna bring
men have
in
more
my
power?
questions.
Sure. No
So
worries. Go ahead.
um like so when I was reading about Islam, I found out like men are allowed to marry 4 wives, but it's not the same given like for the women. And it's fine because to be honest, for me, it's also like if I see myself as a woman, I don't think that I'll be able to handle like 4 guys in my life. But like
Okay.
for the men, like they're allowed to have like 4 wives, and yeah, I know like they should do some kind of like procedure, being fair with them, uh treating them all like fairly and all. But I mean, I don't know how to explain this. Like, but as a woman, I don't, I don't think I can share my husband with someone. I
Sure.
have this
Sure.
like jealousy thing,
Uh-huh.
and I think all the women on my behalf can speak the same. So I don't
Sure.
understand like how Islam, like um, put something like this, like because it's halal, it's allowed. Like men in
Hmm.
Islam, they can go and marry.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I don't know how to like how Islam puts something where one side of the category is let's say like emotionally not feeling comfortable with this idea.
Sure. Okay. So I think that it's actually the opposite way of what you're saying. So can you tell me who goes to war to fight in Islam?
It's the men.
Okay, but I think that's very. I don't emotionally feel okay. I don't want to lose my. Why do I need to protect you and other women? Why? Why do women not go in the battlefield and fight in the front? It's Islam is not being equal to women and men. Why are men the ones going in the battlefield losing their lives? Why?
I guess because like like the God gave you guys like more power, more responsibility. I don't know, maybe like this. You
So
guys
it's
are like
power for
stronger,
me.
obviously.
So it's power for me to go and die for you. How is that? Okay, so why do
I
I
mean,
need to
you guys
go
are like,
and
yeah,
risk?
you guys
Wait,
have
wait,
like
wait. Why
strong
do I need to
power.
go? Yeah, why do I need to go risk my life? You're talking about like a small getting married here and there. I'm talking about losing my entire life. Why do I need by obligation to go and fight and lose my life? Let's not even say war. Let's say a thief comes in the house. What does Islam teach that I have to do?
Yeah, you have to protect us.
Why? Why? You can go learn jujitsu and karate, and you can protect us. I'm gonna be behind the door. Why? Why is it not just okay? What does
I think.
Islam teach when it comes to the provision in the house? I'm coming to your question, Mother, which I'll answer, but I'm
Mhm.
highlighting something very important for you. When it comes to providing in the household in Islam, what is the role of men and women?
I think it's the man who is going to provide for the women.
Does the woman have to do any spend any money?
What if she wants, she can, but she doesn't. She's not like obliged to have it. Like
Oh, does she have to? Yeah, does she have to spend any money on the house?
no, no, no.
But what if the man is poor and he needs money? Does she have to help?
Sorry again.
What if the man is poor and he's like begging her? Does she have to help?
I mean, like she's not like obliged. I mean, if she wants voluntarily, she can, but she is not like have to do it.
You
Yeah.
see, you're a scholar now when it comes to the rights of women in Islam, right? Like you know very well. Look, oh, it's my right. I know very well. Like if I'm married, doesn't matter if this guy's dying out of hunger. I don't. I don't. If I'm not obliged to give, it's my like. If I feel like it in the day, I'm gonna give him a couple of £2 to go buy a loaf of bread. This is the thing with women. With all due respect, I'm not saying it's just about you, but with a lot of women. Look, you know what benefits you, and you're very happy. You have no complaints, even if that only applies to the gender of the man. But when it comes to things that only applies to the gender of the woman, No, we like Islam is not fair, it's not just to women. Why don't you see the men going and creating channels and going on YouTube? Oh, we are protesting that men need to go fight in war and die for women. We are protesting that the man has to pay. Nobody's doing that. Reason is very simple. We understand men and women are different. And since men and women are different, Allah has given different obligations to the men and women. There are certain obligations the man have to fulfill. Even if it's difficult. Talking about emotions and feeling this, and it's not easy. Allah says in the Quran, كُتِبَ عَلَيْكُمُ الْقِتَالُ وَهُوَ كُرْهٌ لَكُمْ. Allah has written upon you fighting and you hate it. And you may hate something and it's good for you, and you may love something and it's bad for you, and Allah knows and you do not know. So Allah is telling us that we hate it. We hate fighting. Of course, we don't hate it. Nobody loves losing the limbs, for somebody else, protecting the entire nation. But we do it because it's an obligation from Allah. We say we submit, we hear, and we obey. Do men not want, talk about emotions and feeling like this, do men not want to go and have intercourse with every woman out there? They want to. But Islam says no. Gotta wait until you get married. And yeah, while it's also the same ruling for women, and women also have desires, but it's not to the same extent as a man. And something very funny, women will never understand this. They will never understand this. That's why you see a lot of women talking about women, oh, these men are like animals, they'll do this. The women that talk like that are because they've never been a man themselves. I heard this woman once, and she talked about she needed something medically, right? And then she was prescribed to take some testosterone. Yeah? Medically, for some medical issues she had. And she was talking about how insane the desire that she was feeling, basically, right? And how she understood why the men are the way they are. She took a bit of testosterone. Of course, we have a way higher testosterone. She said she only took a small dosage. Men, of course, have like hundreds of levels higher than what she took. So there are obviously clear studies on this as well. It's not, nobody will argue this, the idea of the drive that men have versus the woman. But men maintain themselves on like, okay, Allah commanded it, then we accept it. Right? So a woman can wait much easier than it is the case for men. It's not the same. Okay? So this idea of saying, oh, just because men have certain things they can do and women cannot do the same thing, therefore Islam is unjust to women, that's false, because we have the same idea applying to the man. But in other things, and women don't complain about it. So what is this? We don't have equality in Islam. You're operating now from a Western lens of feminism, which is the idea, oh, we gotta treat the two genders exactly the same. No, because the two genders are different. We have something called equity, justice. Okay? We deal with justice because your nature is different, your behavior is different, then we give you things which are different, commandments which are different, which are prescribed to you. And the same thing goes for the man. And we submit to Allah. Allah knows our nature. He knows what we can take, what we cannot take. Now, talking about the idea of marrying more than one man or whatever. And let's see if you agree with me or not. Because I'm going to say most women have a specific position, and then let's see if you agree with me or not. I believe most women, if they're in love with a person, they would never desire any other man. You tell me, is this correct or is this wrong?
Yes, it's true.
Okay. But that's not the case for men. And women cannot comprehend this because they think if a man is attracted to another woman while he's in love with another woman, then he doesn't love her. The reason they think like this is because they can comprehend this idea. But this is where we come to the idea of the difference and the rules being different because we're different. Men and women are different, therefore the rules will be different for each of them. Now, women who talk about marrying more than one man, they will only complain. Again, by the way, I'm coming with you, I'm going to answer you again, but I'm just highlighting different points. Women that will complain about marrying more than one man are mostly the women that are, let's say, for example, haven't been married before or something like that, or young in age. They would complain about that because it doesn't benefit them. But that same woman, if she got married, okay, and then she spent, let's say, 7-8 years with a man, okay, and then she got divorced, and now she's in her 30s, she would be more than happy of being a second wife to someone. Because now she'll go to the man which is young, right, who's not married. I'm like, oh, marry me. Oh, look, but you already married once. Why do I have to marry you? I want someone who's young, who's not married like me. So these women that can be widows or divorcees, their position on being a second wife, third wife, fourth wife, women will be okay with it so long as it's in their benefit. That's also a woman. Are there cases where their women are married a second wife, third wife, fourth wife? There is cases. Are they not also women? They are women. Are they not okay being the second or third wife? They are. So how is Islam unjust to women when the ones that are married second and third and fourth, they're also women. And nobody's forcing them. Or like it's only the first one that matters, the rest of them don't matter. They're all women. But it's the case of these women are different types of women. So in their cases, okay, they're okay because it benefits them in this case. Oh, so I'm a divorcee and I have kids. So I'm more than happy, for example, right, to marry a man who will take care of me and my kids. I know it's not going to be easy for me to find a husband now. I'm a widow or a divorcee or whatever. That's why even when people talk about Prophet Muhammad marrying all his wives except one were widows and divorcees. They were older in age, they were widows and divorcees. So looking after a wife, which is a widow and a divorcee, let's say as a second wife or whatever, she has kids, a man is looking after her. Why is that a problem? Why is that an issue? So again, like I said, a woman will never desire other men if she's in love with someone and she likes that man, loves that man. That's why a lot of people, women, when they talk about this idea, why is it not allowed? Even if it was allowed, women wouldn't do it. But I'll tell you, the only reason women would do it, do you know is what?
What?
Is to get back at the man. If Allah said it's okay, I would make an oath by this. I would swear to God that this would happen. The only reason women would do it is to get back at the man. We already see this happening in the Western culture. When a man cheats, the woman goes and cheats. It's not because she wants to cheat. She's like doing her get back, you know?
Yeah,
You cheated. You made me feel this way. So you agree with me, right? They go and do it. So they can do it. So if this was allowed, even if they don't want it, they will go do it for the sake of doing it, get back. So this is not something you want to begin with. So why would I complain about something I don't even want, which is the idea of having more than one? But it's the idea of, it benefits me. No, I want that person is only for me. So you only look for what benefits you. But at the same time, that man also is doing certain things that are not in his benefit because Allah commanded them and he's following. Okay? Now, let me add you more cakes on. I'm not done, so you have a long way to go. Okay, so I'm going to ask this question. Let's talk about other ideology. Let's say you're not Muslim. Because people say, Islam is unjust to women because you're allowed to marry more than one wife. Okay. Let's say you are not a Muslim. Let's say you're an atheist. How many women can you be with?
Sorry, could you repeat your question again?
I said, let's look at things from a non-Islamic lens. Let's say you're not a Muslim. So we already, before we talk about Islam, we already mentioned a few rational common sense things. But now let's compare other ideologies before I go into explaining things from an Islamic worldview more. If I'm an atheist, how many women can I be with? What's the number?
I mean, you mean being with, legally by marriage or just by,
No, marriage means live in the same house, have intercourse, have kids, right? Okay.
People
so now let's remove the word marriage.
The best people do without that.
Yeah, so let's remove the word marriage, which is useless in the West because people are doing everything anyways and they just don't call it marriage. It doesn't matter. So, can I live with a woman, have kids, and live in the same place and have intercourse? What is the limit? What is the limit?
Here in the West, it's like there's no limit. People want to cheat, they go and cheat.
Sure. Oh yeah. So why is nobody coming and complaining about the fact that people can have unlimited partners and can have intercourse with as many women as and they already cheat? But it's not just cheating, but they also have the open relationships. And not only that, you have one-way open relationship. You have men who are with women, and women are okay with this. The same women I'm talking about, they're okay being another side chick for a celebrity, for example. It just depends who's the man, right? If it's Leonardo DiCaprio, it's okay. I can be a side chick. I can be a number 14 on the list. I don't care. So long as I'm seeing with him in public, I have a picture on my Instagram. Oh, he's my boyfriend. So if you're a rapper, you're a celebrity, whatever, it's okay for these women to be one-sided, in a one-sided relationship where he has multiple women and she only has one. I'm not going to say maybe all of these celebrities, maybe all of them, all of these celebrities in the West have multiple women on the side. They're married to one, but they have multiple women. And the woman knows. The wife knows, but they just keep it in secret. They don't just publicize it. Just for safe face, so they can save face for their wife. But they do it. And these women remain as wives. And I can mention examples, but it's not about mentioning examples. It's about you understand this is the case. Okay, so as an atheist or a non-religious person, I can have intercourse as many wives as I want. It's not wrong. It's not morally wrong. I can have a one open relationship. So long as the women are okay, every Westerner is going to be like, it's okay. So long as the women agree that you are in one-sided open relationship, it's okay. And it's legal. But if it's a Muslim woman agreeing to be a second wife, no, that's wrong. No, red light. We don't allow this. But it's the same thing. No, we don't allow it. You can consensually be the number 14 side chick to a man who's only one, but marrying another wife. No, sorry. No, it's bad. You're a Muslim, we don't allow you to do this. Peak hypocrisy. Okay, what about other religions? About other ideologies? You're not going to find any of the other major religions putting any restrictions on the number of wives you can have. You'll have Christians telling you can only marry one wife, but there is nothing in the book that says that. There's verses in the Old Testament that says if he take another wife, then he should be good to the first one. So it's talking about having more than one wife. We have many examples of prophets of God: Abraham, Moses, David, Solomon. All of them having multiple wives. We have some ignorant Christians like, but he was condemned. They were never condemned for having more than one wife. Abraham was never condemned for having more than one wife. Moses was never condemned for having more than one. They were never condemned for this. There's a legislation. So whether you want to look, and there's no limit, remember, there's no limit. It doesn't say you can only marry this or that. Islam's the only one that is limiting in this case. Okay, so Islam, now let's go back to Islam. So we compare every other world ideology, because if someone wants to complain about Islam, then you must be something else. You must be Christian, Jewish, atheist. But in the end, all of these other ideologies is 10 times worse than whatever you're complaining about in Islam. And Islam has no issues. Okay, let's talk more about Islam then. So Islam says a man can marry more than one wife, correct?
Yes.
Yes, but Islam puts conditions, correct? Not any man can marry more than one wife. Not any man. And that is why over 90% of Muslims are married to one wife. The overwhelming majority, without a shadow of a doubt, in all countries in the world, of Muslim men are married to one woman. And the reason is very simple. They cannot take it. For many reasons. One, of course, Allah says in the Quran, if you cannot be just, then marry only one. What is that being just? Being just means being physically and financially able to take care of them. And you have to treat them fully just in that which you can. So if you buy something for one, you'll have to buy it for the other. You know? If you buy this one a house, you buy this one a house. You buy this one a car, you buy this one a car. You have to. Because that is within your capacity. So now, most men, especially a lot of men today, they have low testosterone. They don't even have, because of the day and age that we live in, you know? Not only the food, but the way people are doing things. No labor, sitting at home, this and that. People have low testosterone. They can't even take care of the one wife, satisfy one wife, let alone satisfy more than one. And it's an obligation to be able to do it. Okay? Number two is the idea of financially being able to. In this day and age, in which, especially in the West as well, right? But it's all over the world. We're in this economy where we have the rich only gets richer and the poor gets poorer, and people are slave wages, where most people have to even try and get their wife to work so they can survive in one house. Where they don't want their wife to work, but they have no money, so they're forced to do it. And in the end, because they're forced to do it, they're barely keeping up with the rent and the food and whatever. So how many, like all of these men like to joke about, we're gonna marry more than one wife, this, but they have no ability to do it. Wallahi, it's the common joke among many men. So I'm telling you, like over 90% of them are not married, right? It's a common joke. So it's a joke that people make. But in reality, they understand it's like very difficult. You're married, Islam commands you to have kids, you have kids, then you have to take care of the kids and the wife, and then you want to get married again. So you need a separate house. You can't keep them in the same house, Islamically. So you need a separate house. Everything you want to bring for this one, you have to bring for the other one. How many people are able to do this? So it's always going to be a very select number of people. So this select number of people that they have the peak physical nature, right? And peak financial ability, and also wisdom. So they're able, of course, to deal with the war is going to start. Going to be a never-ending war. So they have to be wise. They have to be physically able, financially able. I believe these people deserve to have more than one wife. Because they're not the average person. They're not the average Joe. Right? And they're going to deal with whatever the marrying more than wife is going to come with. Okay?
Yeah.
So this is the idea of marrying more. I'm going to add you a few more things. I know you want to come on, but I want to satisfactorily answer this question and don't even leave any door. So, in Islam, let's talk about it this way. Who is more in the world generally? Who's more in the world generally, or in most countries generally? Who's more, men or women?
Who's what? Sorry.
Who's more? What's the number? If we compare the numbers of men to women in society, mostly in the West and in the world, who's more, men or women?
I think I'm not really sure with the male to female ratio, but most of the time it's the female more, I believe so.
Absolutely, absolutely. Then we also add worldwide it is, and most Western countries it is. Then you can also add the rainbow flags, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
People who swing the different ways. Add also these guys to the list. So now, if we have, and the reason why, because a lot of people don't know, what's the reason? The reason is very simple. Men work more dangerous jobs. Men go to war. All of these reasons. Look at best example now is Russia and Ukraine. So many women and barely men. Why? Because they all went in the battlefield, right? They're all lost in the battlefield, while the women are sitting there, cheating on their husbands in the battlefield. They're dying for them, and these women are just like going around with whoever men is around available. So the idea is that women are more, right? So if we have every man marrying a woman, can you give me a solution for the women that are left? From your world, well, give me any solution. How do we fix the idea of the existence of more women left in society? How do we fix this?
So do you think like the polygamy is the solution? If they
No. Don't tell me what I'm saying. I'm saying you saying no to polygamy. I'm asking you what is gonna be the solution in your idea? If it's not polygamy, then what is? If we disagree with polygamy, what's the solution?
Well, then I guess go and live your life alone. You probably don't want to be converted to that rainbow.
Would you be okay being that person, never getting married in your life and having people in the society, you see them with their husbands, in love with their kids? Are you okay with that?
I'm not, but there's nothing I can do there. I know there's. You mentioned the rainbow thing, and even I do agree that the rainbow thing is like really a very ill mentally thing. No disrespect to the people, but I think like there's no other solution than like live alone and do your work.
There is a solution, but you're excluding the solution. And the only reason is you're excluding the solution. So there is a solution. And these women will be okay because they want to have a husband. They want to be with someone. And they will be more than happy to be second wife or third wife or whatever. So long as they are with someone and not living alone. So there is no solution in your worldview, but there is a solution in Islamic worldview. And this is where the wisdom comes in. And remember, I told you, it's easy for women that are single, that are young to say this. But if you are that, I have people messaging me, women that are looking for spouses, they're in 40s, 30-something, whatever. They're trying to get married, but they're not finding anybody. If you are in that position, you'd be okay. And I have them saying, I'm okay being a second wife. No problem. Because in their scenario and situation, they're a lot less, let's say, sought for in the society, right? So they would be okay being in the second or third wife. Okay. Now the last thing I'm gonna add you is this. This is the last cherry on the cake. Like I'm sure I answered this from everywhere, but I'm gonna add you the last cherry on the cake. Within some Islamic jurisprudence schools of thought, the woman is allowed in Islam before marriage to put a condition in the contract if the man and woman agree that he doesn't get married to any more wives. Okay, and if he breaks that condition, then she's allowed to separate from him and keep her marital gift. So she can initiate the separation and keep her marital gift because he broke the contract. So within Islam, you have this idea as well to do. So that woman can come with the man, and if the man is okay, then it's done. But look, in most cases, like I say, people who talk about these things, it's just talk. Like I said, over 90% of people are not married to one wife. And these things rarely happens. It's just all talk. People just mostly complain about things which are not realistically happening on the ground. Okay? So here is the full kind of answer. Does that answer your question now?
It does, but it also does raise some kind of other questions. For example, I don't want to be disrespecting, but if we see the reality, again, no disrespect, okay? Muslim men who are doing polygamy, they go and marry someone young and more beautiful. Not the one. So in Islam, it says go and marry the orphan, the widow, the one who's need help. But here, and again, I'm not pointing at anyone. But if we go and see, the Muslim men are going and marrying someone young and more. Like, if I would be hurt if my man goes and marry someone young and beautiful because just I got old and you know what I mean. That's one
Okay,
thing.
so let me ask. Okay. First, Islam doesn't say go and marry the widows and then it's you're rewarded if you do it, but it's
Encouraged.
not the only thing you could do. Yeah, encouraged. Yeah, it's not the only thing you could do. But the question is this: you saying you see Muslim men? Can you give me? Have you seen a Muslim man in your life that is married to more than one that you know personally?
I mean, I know someone personal. I cannot like name him. I mean, he's
So
like
you're telling me you know a Muslim man who personally went ahead and married another wife. You're saying that, right?
yeah, he bought like
And he went.
sorry,
Yeah, go
he
ahead.
brought another second wife who was like more
Uh-huh.
young and beautiful than the first one.
Oh, and you know that person personally, huh?
He's a friend of my relative. Yeah.
Oh, a friend of your relative. Okay. So the thing is this: look, whether that person is young or old, that he's gonna marry, whether that woman is beautiful is subjective, anyways. He can come and tell you, "Oh, my first wife is more beautiful than my second wife." That's your own criteria. Younger, of course, that's an objective standard. She can be younger or older. Now the question is this: is he treating them fairly?
I'm not. I don't think that he is treating because that's the second point I want to bring.
Yeah, so he's treating them fairly, right? Is the second wife a woman, or is she a man?
No, she's a woman. She's a woman.
Okay, and she's okay being a second wife, huh?
I mean, like the second wife. Yeah, I think so.
Oh, so a woman is okay being a second wife, so it's not just to her, right? Okay, it's consensual. So that woman that is not a man is also okay being a second wife. The question is that man financially capable? Does he have a lot of money? Is he good, living good?
No, yeah, that's the thing that I wouldn't say he's really like a rich person, but he is a comfortable level.
Yeah, he's
like,
not the average person.
Both of
he's
you,
above average.
Yeah, he can provide.
He's above average. Yeah, he can provide. Is he like taller or physically fit or something like that, or what?
No, that's the thing. He is old.
So he's not physically fit.
Yeah, he's not physically fit. He came up with the second wife, and that second wife is like, and I think I don't want to like judge her character or something. But
yeah,
I feel like
I'm sorry. Wait. Before
money.
we don't need to talk about specific examples. We're talking about the general idea. Now, the guy is definitely physically fit, or he wouldn't go for a younger girl. If the guy had no desire, no matter you say older, whatever, like your estimation, he wouldn't go for a second wife. If the guy did not have the physical ability and the desire, why would he go marry a second wife? So what you're saying is obviously false, because what proves it is like what you said. Oh, he went for the beautiful young one. So of course the guy has the desire. Okay, so in the end, I gave you the Islamic perspective. But what you brought forward now, it doesn't go against the Islamic perspective. None of it goes against the explanation that I gave you. You might not feel like you like this idea or you like that idea, but it doesn't change anything. It doesn't make it unjust because I already explained to you. There's rules for men and women. It doesn't make it unjust because I told you the idea that this is a solution for humanity as a whole. It doesn't make it, it makes it wise, not only not unjust, but it makes it wise. I also told you about the contract and what can be done. I give you all of these responses. So what you're saying right now basically doesn't, even if a man goes and marries, the most beautiful woman on earth, it doesn't change anything. It doesn't change the fact that still that man will die for you, protecting you when necessary. That man will take care of you together, and he will be just to both of you the same way Islamically, or he will be punished on the Day of Judgment. So none of this makes it unjust, what you're saying, basically. Just because she's young and beautiful. This is a jealousy of women. With all due respect to you, this is a jealousy of women, right? Oh, she's more beautiful than me. She's younger than me. It's like it's just jealousy. But the woman that actually cares about women's rights, oh, you know what? I love women. This woman wants to get married. She's okay being a second wife. I love women. So I'm for women's rights. So I'm okay. Marry another woman. Take care of another woman. She's also a woman. You should be a feminist. We should push feminism. Be a feminist. Be for the rights of women. The second woman wants to get married. Let's be for the rights of women. We love goodness for women. So let's be for the rights. That's what the true feminist is going to do. Okay, what's the second point you want to say? But at least we already answered it.
No, I just want to put a little bit of comment. So I feel like when him went and marrying someone way younger.
Let's not talk about him. But Yeah. But go ahead. Sorry, go ahead. I don't want to just talk about the guy, poor guy. You know,
Yeah.
we talk about
Yeah,
him
the
behind
thing
his
is, like,
back.
I
Yeah.
feel like, okay, being the justice one is one of the names of the God Allah, right? And when
Allah
like
is the
Islam
most just.
says
Yeah.
if you're doing polygamy, be very fair. Do you really think men who's doing polygamy out there are really fair with the like wives when they do when they're doing polygamy? And it's really
Well, not
difficult for me, honestly. Like,
yeah, not necessarily. But if they're not, Prophet ﷺ told us they will come on the day of judgment being punished. They'll come with their half on the day of judgment. They will have severe punishments, a major sin.
so what would the first wife gonna do? Just sit and like see his husband spoiling the second wife, but not her.
If
Have
the
patience.
husband, the second wife can do everything if she's not being just to her. If he's not being just to her, she can separate from him. If he's being unjust to her, then in Islam we have something called talaq darar, the divorce based on harm. She can go to a judge and she can be separated. He's not giving me my Islamic right. Allah explicitly in the Quran says, فَلَا تَمِيلُوا كُلَّ الْمَيْلِ وَتَذَرُوهَا كَالْمُعْلَقِ. Do not incline all the way towards one and leave the other one hanging. Allah explicitly in the Quran tells us not to do that. But I'm telling you, if someone were to not do the rights to the wife, she has the position to separate. If he's not giving her rights, then she can separate, do talaq dar and separate from her husband.
Yeah, it also actually brings me to my thanks for explanation. It also brings me to my second question, which is the right of divorce. Now in Islam, like again, I'm gonna bring to the men and women because my concerns are regarding the women, right? So men can easily say 3 times like divorce and they are divorced, but for the women, they have to go through the court, lawyers, and then the divorce gonna happen. Like, why it's so feasible for the men to say the 3 words, but for the women, they have to wait for the date in court and that's my question. Like, how are you gonna?
Okay. You answered this question, and I think this has been like established kind of in our discussion. Who relies more on emotions, the men or the women?
The women.
The women. Who goes through a menstrual cycle is like throughout the month and the PMS and all of these things where their hormones change and they will say something and the next day they'll like, I never said this. Who goes through these phases?
The one
Men or
with,
women?
Sorry, with what? Sorry.
You go through menstrual cycles and you go through
It's the women. It's
phases.
the women. Yeah.
PMSing and you may say something and you remember it completely differently the next day because of your hormones. Who goes through this? The women, right?
Yeah, it's the women. Yeah.
Okay, is that a natural thing that all women go through?
Yeah, it's natural.
Okay. Now, if the woman goes through these stages and then they feel like something, who do you think is easier to say the word I divorce or divorce? The men or the women?
The women, because they go through this. Yeah.
Okay. So when a woman is in that stage and she goes like, divorce me, they don't say I divorce because Allah didn't give them that. But they say their favorite word, divorce me. They say it 24/7. The reason the man doesn't divorce them is because he knows that she's like being emotional right now, this and that. Later on, she's going to. And then next day she comes, she hugs, I love you, this and that. Yesterday she was saying, divorce me. But this is how women are. So if you want Allah, okay, I told you Allah knows the men and the women, and He gives, this is what you need to put in your mind. This idea of feminism, you're going to take it, put it in the bin because it's incorrect. What you need to do is to understand men and women are different. And if men and women are different, then since women go through these stages and through these phases, Allah will give them something that works for them. If Allah gave them the right of divorce, like we're going to have like everybody divorced in society. If you look in the West, and I'm going to, again, let's compare the idea in the West. In America, for example, we have men and women can initiate divorce, right?
Yeah.
Okay. If men and women can initiate divorce, who do you think is initiating more divorce, men or women in the West?
I think it's the women.
Yeah. So you have this nearly 50% divorce rate or whatever. I have 80% of women initiating the divorce. And a lot of it is no-fault divorce, right? It's not like the guy like did something bad or it's just like, oh, I'm like, it's my mood in the day. I told you, like, it's my emotional stage right now. I'm going to divorce. So you see already the application when you allow this idea, what it leads to. So if it's more than 80% of women doing it, then we understand that if you open this door, then you have a society with barely people married. And look at the West now, it's all single women and single men. Then you have 90% of criminals in the prison, they're coming from single parent homes. You're completely destroying your society. By one, you can think small rule. It's not a small rule. The Creator has commanded that for a reason. Okay? So that's the first thing. The man doesn't go through that stage. So he is going to be calculated in his decision. Also, the man has a financial liability. If he divorces the woman keeps her marital gift. Okay? So she's winning in that case by keeping her marital gift. He loses that marital gift and he loses the woman. So he's got to calculate, okay, I married that woman now. Do I want to divorce the woman? Okay, but again, let's compare. I'm going to do it again. Comparing the idea of men and women and divorce. In the West, how many divorces is the limit that you have? What is the limit for divorce?
There is no limit. Like, you can go.
There is no limit.
Yeah.
Yeah, there is no limit for divorce. In Islam, there is a limit. You can only divorce 3 times. 2 of them, you can take your woman back. The last one, you will not be able to take her back. Unless she goes and gets married and have intercourse and does all of that. Basically, it's very unlikely that you'll be with that woman again once that last divorce happens. So in Islam, there is a limitation. But in the West, you can have 1 million girlfriends. You can have one night intercourse with her and throw her to the dumpster, you know? She wakes up, you're not even there next morning. That is divorce here. You're leaving the woman. That's it. You could go have intercourse with a woman, get her pregnant, block her on all social media, and go live with your life. Right or wrong?
Yeah.
So that is the society in the West. In Christianity, it's worse. If you go to Christianity, you cannot even divorce. You don't have the position. Even if the guy is abusive, even if that, the only position is adultery. If either party commits adultery. But if they don't commit adultery, you cannot get divorced. He could be abusive, he could do this and that. You see, these are the alternatives now. In Judaism, there's something called the get, which the woman has to go and get as well. It's no different from Islam, basically. So it's not like you're not having these. People think, oh, but what about this? Go and complain. What we need to go and complain about is that the pump and dump idea and like use and abuse that happens to the Western women. Not that Islam gives this idea of divorce to this person and doesn't give. That's not the case. Also now, the last thing about the court and lawyers and all of this, that's not the case. The court and lawyers and whatever. No, it just depends on what kind of divorce is happening. But these happen. Things are going through these legal cases, let's say, or through the judge, is because of what? It's because of what I told you. Is that the woman can get emotional, can say this and that. So things need to be established with proof. Okay? So you want to get divorced, no problem. But you have a reason. That person is doing bad to you. He's doing harm to you. He's not treating you well, whatever. Okay, you go to the judge and show your case. But the man came and he married you and he agreed with you and your father on a marital gift. People ask for gold, people ask for this, and he gave you that thing. He did his part. Now you are his wife. You come the next morning, oh, I want a divorce. And I'm going to keep your wealth. And the next day, I'm going to go marry another person. Like, it's going to be a business. No. You want to get divorced? Okay. Why do you want to get divorced? Is he being abusive, this and that? Okay. You can go establish the case. Then separation can happen. There's also cases in Islam in which, for example, there's a companion woman that came to the Prophet ﷺ. Okay, she married a man, a companion. Then she came to the Prophet ﷺ and he said, I do not have any criticism of his manners. I don't have any criticism of his religion. Okay? So he's a good person. But the only thing I fear that I cannot fulfill my right towards him. Okay? Basically, let's say she's not attracted to him. She's not going to be able to fulfill her right. Her spousal rights. You with me?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm with you.
Yeah. She came to the Prophet ﷺ. Then the Prophet asked her, would you give him back his garden? He gave her as a marital gift a full garden, you know? So then the Prophet asked, would you give him back his garden then? You want to separate, right? He's okay. He's a good, mannerful person. He's a good religious person. He doesn't have any bad characteristics. You want a divorce. Would you give him back his garden? She said yes. The Prophet said to him, take your garden back and divorce her. Okay? Even though he wasn't abusing her, he wasn't doing anything, but she was not attracted to him in that way. That is also found in Islam. But this idea of feminism is that which ruined, it's not only ruined the West, it's like ruining the whole world at this point. Go look at how Western families are. Go look at these women crying day and night. They have no spouses. They're being used and abused every day and night. Just complaining about Islam, this rule and that rule. But go look at like these rules don't exist in the West at all. There's no rules. You can do whatever you want. So isn't that more worthy of criticizing than coming and talking about Islam, which giving you these wise rules from the Creator that knows what benefits you and what works for the nature of a woman and what works for the nature of the man? Of course. So once you remove this, I understand. Look, once you understand, it's not like we're not treated the same because we're not the same. Women are one way, men are one way, and God gives them that which is wise and more beneficial for them.
Yeah, I do agree what you have said. And I honestly don't go and look West as an example or any other. I told you at the beginning of this that I feel like the Islam, like when I started reading about this religion, it felt the most sense, like, comparing to the
Sure.
other religion. And I don't disrespect the other one. They are good in their own. But what I was just trying to say is like, don't you think there's like emotional immature men out there, like the Muslim men? What makes me like uncomfortable that men can say divorce like in that moment itself. Don't you think they are saying it out of anger or out of like the intense of heat of the moment and then intense?
No, like their wife cooked them their favorite meal and they are like, they ate and they smile at it like, you're divorced. Of course they're upset. Of course there's a disagreement happening. When you divorce someone, you divorce them because there's a disagreement. But I told you, it's a calculated decision. The person can be angry, can be upset, but it's a calculated decision that the man knows in his mind that you're not going to live with this woman again. You don't want to live with this woman again. That it's a calculated decision. And in most cases, it will be the woman driving the guy crazy that he's like, you know what, you divorce me, okay, go. In most cases, it will be like this. In 90% of cases, if not more, it's going to be like this. That the woman is pushing him so much that the guy's going crazy. It's like, okay, go. You want to go, go. In most cases, it's going to be like that. But it's like nobody's saying that men are robots. Of course, they can get also upset or annoyed or whatever. But I'm telling you, it's a calculated decision. And the man has already given the wife her marital gift. And also, he has rights to give to her after divorce. Also. So even if he divorces her, within the iddah period, she will stay in the house. He will have to provide for her for the first and second divorce. Still, there's rights that he has to give to her. It's not just simple as, that's why it's a calculated decision. But who cares whether it's on the spot or I'm going to go to the judge? Why does that matter? If in the end, the result is being established, and I already explained to you the idea that women are going to be in that emotional state. So if it was on the spot, I already explained this to you. I don't know if you're paying attention. But if it was on the spot, no marriages would be left. Everybody would be divorced at this point. So when it is the judge, now she needs to sit down and think and goes and like, next day, this and that, the hormones are going to change, all of that. Okay, it's going to be a completely different story. That's why in Islam, by the way, I'm going to add you even a few more things. In Islam, and look at the wisdom behind Allah's command. In Islam, it's not permissible for you to divorce a woman in her period, for example. Right?
Yeah, and
it's
when
impermissible.
Yeah,
you
I read
shouldn't
that
do that.
part.
Yeah,
That,
so
like,
okay, you say
Muslim men
you
cannot
say,
actually divorce women if they are
Yeah.
pregnant and if they are.
No,
I
it's
did
not.
read
He
that
can't
part.
divorce. No, it's not. It's not. He can't divorce if they're pregnant. No. But the point I'm trying to make to you, it's not what you're saying. Oh, on the spot. No, it's not on the spot. If she's on her period, I can divorce her. Even if I want to, I have to wait. I can do it. If the woman is in her purity after her menstrual cycle, but you had intercourse with her, then you can't divorce her in that period because you had intercourse with her in that purity. You have to wait again so she can have a period. And so it's not as you make it seem. Oh, unrestricted, unlimited divorce whenever you feel like it as a man. No, it's not. Many men have to wait in many cases because they don't have the capacity. Now, if she's pregnant, then the divorce will only happen. Basically, the waiting period is going to be until she gives birth. So it's longer than 3 menstrual cycles. Maybe that's what you read. It's a different thing. He has to wait, take care of her for that period until she gives birth. You see, all of these rules are there because they are from the Creator. Creator knows what is beneficial and what is not beneficial. And you're not, look, I give you the wisdoms, you listen to them from here, with all the respect to you, of course. And I feel like they come out from here, but you say the point again. Do you understand? What you got to understand is this is from God.
Yeah, obviously, I'm not like
the reason,
arguing with anything that God.
I'm not saying. Wait. 1 second. The reason I know you're not, and you said that the last question, it makes sense. I'm not attacking you, but I'm explaining to you what you're not internalizing. Right? What you're not internalizing is the idea that this is from God. If it's from God, then God is the most knowing. When I give you these wisdoms, is to just highlight to you, to make you understand the wisdom, some of the wisdoms. This is not all the wisdom, it's more. Like, this is just what came to my mind. There's a lot more points that I can mention. But there's a lot of wisdoms that Allah has behind these rules. And we don't see women coming complaining about the things that men have to do. There's also wisdom behind these rules. And that's why men submit and say, okay, Allah commanded it, then we're going to do it. We don't have this men feminism happening for us. But go ahead, yeah. Do you have any other questions?
Actually, I think I took a lot of time. I did have like some questions left. But again, I think they are very feminist kind of questions. So I'm just going to keep it. And then there are like people waiting in their room as well. So I don't want them to be like waiting. But I did get your point. Like, I do understand that the Islam religion, and again, I'm not arguing with anything that God has permitted. Again, there is some wisdom. There is some thing that we as a human, we cannot understand. But when things come out, it's all like it's fair for all the kind of people, which is fine for me.
So whatever other questions that you have, if they're related to the same idea, then you just like feminism
it is related.
You've been pushed feministic narratives, and you see, I've answered these questions from a very logical and rational standpoint. Do you agree with that? Not just like I told you. This
it does make sense to me. Like it does actually make sense to me.
So I'm trying to tell you is whatever other questions that you have, they will have the same answer. They will show you whether it's it's about inheritance or about this or about that. All of them will have the answers. It's just like it's the usual questions that we answered many times. But it's just the West pushing an idea to you which is based on a false premise. The false premise is that men and women should be treated exactly the same. It shouldn't be the case. So if it makes sense to you, then I think you should accept Islam. I don't think you should delay it. I think if it makes sense to you, then I think that's what you should do. And I told you in the end, look,
want to accept, but I don't understand like how I'm gonna open this to my family. Like I have to have some conversation with my family because I want them to accept Islam as well, not just me. I want them to go heaven with me, not just me.
Yes. So I'll tell you. The first and most important thing Allah tells us in the Quran: "O you who believe, protect yourself and your family from the fire." So you first protect yourself. If I'm not protected, then I cannot protect anybody else. You gotta first start with yourself. If you yourself, that makes sense to you, believe in the teachings, these are the teachings from God that you want to follow, then what you do is you accept. And then what you do is you gradually, a step by step, follow it in your life. Okay? And then when you become more confident, more understanding of the teachings of the religion, then you start sharing it with your family members. Right? Because you cannot, if you start sharing it instantly before you learn, then you're going to ask you this and that, you have no answers, right? You're now confused. Because you haven't yet fully practiced it yourself. So you first take it a step by step, protect yourself first. Because if you die today, I cannot say, I was waiting so I can speak to my family, right? Allah will tell you, you knew this is the truth. You lived not praying to God, not giving thanks to God, not submitting to God. Why? You could do it. And a step by step, learn, improve, and then you can invite your family, you can teach others. You're more than welcome to do that. It's the right thing to do. But that happens after you first establish things within yourself. First, establish religion, learn how to pray, learn yourself, understand the basics, practice it for a bit, then start inviting your family members. And you'll ask Allah to guide them, of course. And you're welcome to bring them, can talk to them, whatever. That's you're more than welcome to do that. But what matters is where you're gonna go. First, you gotta start with yourself.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're sick, and then you see someone who's sick, and you're like, go buy a medicine. You're like, you're sick too. Why are you not buying medicine yourself? First, you go buy a medicine, heal, and then come and try and heal me. But if we're both sick, and I'm telling, I want to heal this person, well, first you gotta fix yourself first, and then we'll work from there. So it seems like you've read a few things about Islam, right? Do you know how you accept Islam? You understand how to accept Islam?
I do actually accept Islam because again, there is some doubts, and I'm clarifying that doubts by either looking your I just got to know about you recently by some guy who actually told me about you, and I just wanted to also mention you about him. So he says he really watches all of your videos and is really fan, and he loves you dearly. That's what he told me.
I appreciate it.
Tell you.
I love him too. So look, I'll give you an invitation. You don't have to do it right now. You can do it right now if you want. The Shahada is a very simple thing. Is you say you testify there's nothing worthy of worship except Allah. Testify that Prophet Muhammad is his messenger and servant. Can connect you with sisters that can teach you step by step on how to practice Islam. And I'm inviting you. If you want to accept Islam, you can do it. Now, And then you can take it step by step in your life, practice it. I don't think you should delay, for sure.
Yeah, I think I just I think I just really need to clarify my mind from this feminism based questions, and then
Sure,
by
yeah.
step, and as you said, step by step, I think I will go. And at one point, I just have this wish that I take my shahada at the mosque, which is near my house.
Yeah, no worries.
And
Yeah, but it's
before taking the shahada, I just want to clarify some of my doubts, which I could just by reading
yeah.
some Islamic websites, like the trustful one. And
Yeah, yeah.
I think then I will be
Yeah, and
all
I
good.
think maybe some like if you search the question name or whatever on my channel, you may have already seen a video of me answering the question. Yeah, in
I
most
actually
cases
don't know
that
how
would
to
be the case.
use this thing. This is my first time ever going to live. I'm not really.
No,
tech
I mean on
savvy.
YouTube, on my YouTube channel, you can just go on YouTube. You type the name of the question. Like for example, multiple wives, Muslim lantern. You'll see I'll have videos where I already talked about this. You type whatever question that you have on YouTube. Just put the name, like the idea, the subject, and then put the Muslim lantern. And most cases, you probably get a video popping up. All right. So hopefully that will help you answer your other questions. But yes, feminism is a disease that you need to get a cure from, which can take time. You think about it a little bit, you understand why your foundations are incorrect. You've been spread this poison, and that you need to fix that poison, and then inshallah you can take the step. No worries, at the mosque, anywhere. In the end, what matters is that you accept the truth. All right, pleasure talking to you, Kai. I'm gonna let you go.
Thank you.